Just a couple of days ago, I brought you guys a pretty interesting news story based on a patent that had been filed by Samsung showing this lovely looking device here, this hypothetical, theoretical device, a tri-folding device. You've seen the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Well, imagine a Z Fold 6 that could fold a couple of times, just once. It's got two hinges. Why that makes it a trifold, I will never understand. And don't you dare start talking about wallets in my comment section. I won't stand for it. This should be a bifold. But nonetheless, a trifold device, as people are wont to call this sort of thing. And today we have a little bit more to talk about because we have another source. A South Korean website, CISA Journal, has their own report adding some more details to this. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that this is coming from ShaneCraig.tech, my very own website that I have been working quite hard on over the last couple of weeks, posting written versions of many videos you will see here on this channel. So with that somewhat shameless plug out of the way, let's take a look at this article and see what CISA Journal is saying. What are they adding to the conversation that I brought with this patent? So the first thing that I think that they mentioned that was quite interesting is that they are reporting that this device could launch in the second half of 2025. Now, in my article, I referenced the fact that Ross Young of Display Supply Chain Consultants said that the trifold was coming in early 2026. Talking early 2026 versus maybe the second half of 2025. These two things aren't really that far apart, but they are far enough apart for me to be able to say that these are sort of diverging reports. Ross Young was quite accurate with the Z Fold 6 device and all of these sorts of things. He's gotten quite a few. He has a pretty good track record. I'll just say it this way. And unfortunately, CISA Journal's track record is a little bit shaky, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in just a moment. They are also reporting that Samsung is looking to do about 300,000 units, which would be a fairly limited run. Now, this is not surprising to me in the least because this is going to be a very, very expensive device. They're not expecting or trying to sell millions of these things. 300,000 will be just about it. But that does make you start to wonder, will this be similar to the Z Fold Special Edition in that will it only launch in China and South Korea? Will this ever see Europe and North America? Personally, I would be a little bit surprised if it did, given the circumstances, and if that's accurate, given that aspect of this report. Now, they do also talk about this device as if it is a phone. In my video, I kind of speculated, would this be a true phone device or would this be sort of a Galaxy Tab replacement? Given their report, given the appearance, at least in the patents, of a selfie camera here on this cover display, I think it's okay to assume at this point that it's probably going to be a phone. Again, gigantic pinches of salt with all of this stuff, but it's looking like it's likely to be a phone. And if I go back over to my original post just for this visual, just in case you missed it, this is going to be a quote-unquote G-Fold style device that Samsung Display has shown off for a while. It's going to fold in on itself and then in on itself again. And by doing this, it's going to be keeping that display quite a bit safer. All of that fragile folding display is going to be completely covered up, unlike the Huawei device, the Mate X-T Ultimate, where that cover display is actually made out of fragile folding OLED. Now, why do I say that CISA Journal, I hope I'm pronouncing that even like in the ballpark of correct, I'm just going to keep rolling. Why am I saying that they don't have the greatest of track records? Well, unfortunately, if you go back to some of their work with the Galaxy Z Fold 6, and we'll just jump back over to my website because I did a write-up on exactly this, we'll scroll down and we'll see here, they doubled down on the idea of a budget model of the Galaxy Z Fold 6, going as far as actually talking about pricing. Now, it's possible that maybe eventually this will be true, but when we talk about a Samsung foldable phone that's going to be under $800, this just has not happened. So then when we start talking about what this same publication has to say about this trifold device, you have to keep that stuff in mind. They have missed the mark in the past. It's possible that they'll miss the mark currently. One thing that we know for sure is that as we head deeper and deeper into 2025, more and more of this stuff is going to begin to come to light. We get closer and closer to the Z Fold 7 as well. I'm sure there's going to be just an absolute ton of leaks and rumors about that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss out on more content just like this. Let me know in those comments down below, what do you think about all of these reports? Do you find it interesting that all these days later, I don't think that any other like big news outlet has actually noticed the patents that Samsung has filed? Normally, these patents make the news all over the place. I think somehow it slipped under the radar because no one's talking about it. Do you find that a little bit odd? I find it a little bit odd because they're literally like 6 days old at this point. No one's talked about it. At any rate, I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.